after match, let's talk a little bit about what happened. It was very swing in the first and then the second and the tiebreak. Maddie and I were discussing up there that there might have been a little bit of cramping situation. We were wondering if you tanked the second set.
Oh, I was sorry. I'm sorry I didn't make it more obvious. I mean, I figured, I was like, after the first game where I got broke, I was like, I'm tired. And then I was like grinding a little bit. Then I was like, to go through, and I already felt my legs real, like my thighs started like really getting tight. And I was like, to go through another set, which I wanted to, but my legs won't do it. It's like, I just need to like abort and go to get to the tiebreak. And literally after that, I was like, I'm just gonna start swinging and like slap forehands and get a little bit of a rhythm on the returns. I started to figure the returns out for me a little bit better. And it's just like, come to net and see what happens. If, I honestly, I was gonna like, if he's really sinister, what he would do is tank a little bit more of the second set with me to make it last longer. Like I mean, if I was in your shoes, I would have totally been like, you know what? If you're gonna tank this, let's make this nice and long. I would have just made me suffer.
Not only did I think that, but I actually did do it in spurts of the drop shot lob kind of play.
Oh,
dude. That was it.
Oh, you were way too nice.
Oh, what would you have done?
I would have completely went 10-year-old tennis, lob, and just and had a smile on my face and made me finish every point.
The reason why I didn't do that is because I wanted to have a good rhythm and good feel for the ball in the 10-point tie. Because I think if I take, and you can tell me, Maddie, if you ever take pace off of in some of your lessons or some of your hitting sessions here, if you take pace to 50% of your racket head speed, when you play a real match or like a real point 5 minutes later, it's hard to kind of like readjust.
No. Okay.
Plus
he's a nice guy.
Comments.
Oh, I mean, when it comes out to being on here, I mean, I'll take the horrible comments, but. Yeah.
Shout out to Eric Klamrowski, who's been commentating, and he'll be on the channel soon. I said to him, I'm gonna either breadstick or bagel this guy in one of the sets, and I did do that. So you're gonna eat your words, boy. Just letting you know,
Eric. You
should
have let me know, and I at least won 2 games in a second.
Yeah,
I mean, if you would have texted me and said, look, something's on the line here, I would have got you 2 more games.
So what do you think in the first set? Do you think there was any momentum switch? Because from up there, we can say like you were having trouble holding, and the games were really long for you to hold, and the games were really short for you to hold. And we were like, if this continues, then Kevin's going to struggle.
My first serve today was surprisingly good. Obviously, it being 5'8"-ish. I'm listed at 5'7.5" in the doctors, but I say 5'8" or 5'9" in social situations, so I don't feel bad. My first serve has actually been pretty good as a guy that's 5'10". So like at 5'11", I was actually finding my spots in the flat serves. But the thing that was helping me at being 6 feet tall was the slider out wide on the deuce side to take you off balance and really open the court. And I don't think he even slapped a forehand return on the deuce side.
Honestly, I've just been struggling with returns, and I didn't quite figure out until the second set. I had trouble getting the energy, and I blame Scott for that. I was like, I'll start off, and just the energy wasn't as where I wanted, and I kind of liked that you kind of like started screaming a little bit, so it made me kind of start screaming a little bit. Good. And then I started listening to a little Rocky and different music on the changeovers.
I saw that.
and just anything to keep the energy up, because I didn't think I served horrible, but I didn't serve like yesterday, and I was just tired. And so, Scott's like, thanks.
He's like, why could this not have been
my big thing was, I felt like I was an escape artist a couple times. You had me like
7 break points, I think.
Yeah, you had a ton of break points, especially that 40 love game where I came back.
Well, I was up love 40, and then you were up 40 love too, and then you got to deuce.
Yeah, I got to deuce, and somehow I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
I'm still alive. And then it came down, I think, like I had 1 break point.
Yeah,
yep.
one.
And
the entire time, and I was like.
Well, I was also not yelling, I was talking to the camera too. It's not how many break points you have, it's how many you take. That's the only thing that matters.
And that's when I started to figure out the return a little bit. I made you play, and like you played a great game. And I told the camera, it's like you hit 2, I got the first 2 returns back. You hit a winner, and then I hit a winning passing shot. Yep. Then you came in, and I somehow shanked it, some heavy spin low. You floated that one wide, and I had 1 opportunity on a ball, and I was like, don't hold back. You see the ball, rip it. Yeah, I mean.
And I got tentative.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, rip it.
Okay.
And it was like there, and I was like, at least I have that under my belt.
Yeah.
But just for me, my legs are such a big part of my game because I use that to especially like get around my forehand, use my legs on my serve, get in better position for my backhand. And so that was such a big thing, and I was trying to really slow the match down enough, but not slow it down too much where I wouldn't lose my rhythm for being energetic. And that was a tricky thing. And I was just happy to get through and navigate a lot of situations she put me through where I was like, I can't believe I haven't got broken at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, statistically speaking, I think 0 out of 4 is pretty common from the stats I've seen on my Swing Vision app that I use. But anything above 0 out of 5 or 0 out of 6 for men's tennis is kind of unforeseen.
No,
and you know, anything above 4-0 singles for men's tennis. So that's good escape artist.
No,
I had a question for you. How did you keep mentally tough in the set? Because it's hard when your opponent is cramping and you can tell from the other side. What were you saying to yourself to keep yourself like focused and on point with what you were trying to do?
No mercy. And I know it's not true, but in my head, I trick myself into thinking that you're faking it to get an advantage on me.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because
I would
I'm
have
never
brought
gonna
out a
show you
cane
mercy.
if it would help.
Yeah. Never gonna show you.
I would start crawling on the ground.
Just because there are times where, like, especially in juniors or in college, I'm up a set in 2 breaks, and then I kind of feel sorry for my opponent. That's not a thing anymore. I'm way too toxic for that at 33 years old.
Deep down, he's a teddy bear.
So yeah.
Yeah, because that's always hard, right? To keep the mental focus and when your opponent is. I mean, I don't know if you were tanking.
Toes, like right here, like it just got tight. It was just like shut down central, like around the second set, and I was like,
yeah.
That was the end of the first.
It was the end of the first set.
Okay, so it was.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I was like, oh. I was like, and then we played a couple long points, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't know. I just like, I felt like there was a clock going. I was like, I don't know how much longer my thighs can keep that up. And then when we started the tie break, I started to feel my toes go. And so then
it wasn't just your toes.
No. This
Okay.
started here at the beginning, like the second or third game in the second set, and I was like, ah, and that's when I was like, done. We're not grinding.
I thought it was the end of the first set you started to slow down a little bit, specifically running around your backhand to hit a forehand.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he's not doing that anymore. Something's up physically or maybe mentally. But one thing that I did in the second set in the first 3 games was just cross-court forehand rallies with you. And then I think you went for the down the line a little bit too much, like once or twice. And I'm like, okay, you're getting impatient.
Yeah.
I'm going to suck you into that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. Physically, I didn't want to sit here and do it. Where I felt like I had the first set down. I was willing to kind of keep going, and if I cramp in the first, whatever, it is what it is. But if I can squeak the first set out, I have something to work with.
Okay.
And it's just physically, it just became a really like daunting task to like, okay, do you really want to grind this out? And then that's where I was like, get to the tie break as soon as possible. Because I kept even like, that's why I was like, if he just keep me out here, that would suck. And I was just like gonna start walking away from serves.
Well, you did a great job with returning the whole match. I thought you did a great job with returning.
made me work
There
really
were
hard on
very
mine.
few returns that you missed. The only
It
ones
was
you missed was
long,
when you were
mainly.
going, or you went too big on the forehand.
Yeah.
When you didn't need to, like on a second serve return or something. But most of the time, you just chipping the ball back deep was super successful for you.
I'm going to make him create an angle from the middle of the court.
Yeah, no.
Which I
it
don't
was-
normally. I don't mind. I
Yeah,
don't mind
normally
you chipping
yeah.
me back and me going ding, 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 ding. But the legs got to be there to
Yeah.
want to run around.
And
that.
I don't mind running.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. There was a couple points, especially in the second, where you ran a lot. I was like, okay, let him run. And then the next point, like I kicked it out wide. We started the same thing, and you missed the next slice. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I like that. I much rather play points if I have a lead and keep you running and keep that compounding over and over and over again to see. Not only just, I feel like physically you can keep it up, but mentally it's like, do you really want to keep it up?
Well, it felt
Yes.
like also in the tiebreak against Scott, your serve was bigger, so you got a lot more
Yeah.
free points. And then this tiebreak, you didn't get any free points. Like you didn't have a big serve. Your
No.
serve was like, here you go. Like let's just get the serve in the tiebreak.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like either I slap it or I just get it in. And then I was like, you know what, let's just see if we can not make mistakes. And then you played a really tough point in the beginning where I tried to like pick up the energy, and I was like, son of a gun. I wanted to get the first point, get some momentum going, and then it just took too long where I was down like 6-0, 7-0.
I mean, what was your mindset
Yeah.
going back?
6-0.
Yeah.
Mindset
06,
coming back
yeah.
is like, honestly, it's like, I just see it. I can come back. Like I had this whole story, theme song in my head. I was like, I'm coming back. Rocky theme song, cuts. Balboa's hitting me in the face. And it was like, it just slowly started happening. I was like, don't get negative, play 1 point at a time. And then I slowly start squeezing the gap. And then there's like 1 or 2 balls where like the backhand you hit cross court where I just needed to dump it there and I missed it wide. Yeah, that was a big one.
I think I might have said a bad word up there.
Yeah. That was a big one to try to close that gap and keep it going. Like I wanted to start getting your mind where it's like, son of a gun, he's not giving up, he's coming back, and get that gap close enough before you got to 9. And I was just like 1 or 2 points off because I wanted to get it where it was at least 7-8, and it was 9-7, and then it was 8-6. I couldn't get that 1 more point conversion to make you go, son of a gun, I need to play tighter.
Yeah,
and that was the thing where, and then I felt really, I was like, just go all out, you cramp, whatever. I hit a great inside out, and I just was like, hit it inside in, and somehow
he got it.
and then it led, and I was like, son of a gun.
You got to go a little louder on that one.
I was like, that was supposed to be a winner.
Nope.
But I was like, whatever. And then it's like, I was like, I got to push this deep, and started looking for the overhead. And
yeah, what was up with the overheads today?
Overheads, just legs and getting back was just not, and it's one of those things where like my approaches weren't big enough to warrant like I wasn't using my legs enough to really force him to hit me a shorter overhead. I just was struggling. Just getting back and legs.
Question for the commentators from a third-party perspective. I want to hear from each of you individually. Tactically speaking, now that we explained our thought process, our kind of strategy in the first set, second set, and the tiebreak, and even microcosms of it, what advice would you give now to me and Kevin to win in a better more cleanly, I would say? Like obviously me in the first set, Kevin in the second set, and possibly even me and or Kevin in the match tiebreak. Tactically speaking, I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
I would say for the most part, I thought you played pretty smart, Mark. Especially that second set, I think it's easy to kind of lose focus, especially if you do see the other person kind of tanking, saving the energy, being like, oh, let me also, rip it a little bit more. So I think you did a pretty good job staying focused, but still like putting the pressure on. You could have tried to tire him out even more. That could have happened, but I feel like maybe if you did that, then you'd kind of lose your own rhythm and your own focus just a little bit. So I thought that was pretty smart. I think the tiebreak you played pretty well. I think when he was coming back, you were going a little bit too aggressive. If you had kind of worked the point a little bit more in some of those, we could see up there that Kevin was having cramps, and if you were hitting him around a little bit more, then eventually you'd probably get a little bit easier of a shot, work those points a little bit more. And then I would say for Kevin, I think the first set, really holding your serve on those tough ones, that was very crucial there. That was a nice job doing that. I think Mark was tough to break, but that last one, you did take advantage of that one break point you did have, and you did convert. So it's all about, right, who converts that last one. I think, so that first set, I think was well played. I think if possible, maybe even being able to shorten some of those points in the first set so you'd have more left later because of the hard match too with Scott beforehand. But I mean, really, I think pulling out that set was the most important, however you needed to do it. The second set, can't really blame you for kind of taking there just because there is a tie break, right? And there's not going to be, if there was a third set, if you guys are playing third set, that would be a complete different story.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it's not happening.
Listen to your elders.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What if even like coming to net more sometimes, like going for it, coming to net, I don't know if that would have been the move for you or not, but.
I feel like in the second set I was trying to just be more aggressive. Yeah. Like there was one ball I remember where I was like slapping forehands and you hit a ball out of the air.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not backing up. I'm going to take a swinging volley. It doesn't matter.
And the swinging volley was like this
low. It was like this low. I was like, I'm not backing up.
Yeah.
He's going to, I was like, what I want is him to hit winners. If he hits winners, I'm happy. I'm not backing up. I'm not playing defense. I'm just moving forward.
I literally said, great point, Kevin. And then I said, that was so dumb.
You're a little bit more biased, but I want to hear your insight as well.
Well, I think, number one, I think if the way to play Kevin effectively is for you realizing that Kevin anticipates really well and he's quick.
Yeah.
in most cases, minus this. And so a lot of times in the beginning, you were thinking that the ball was going to be a winner, or not necessarily a winner, but it was going to be a lot better than what it was, and he was getting him back, and then you would make the error on the next ball.
Yeah.
And I think you needed to actually be a lot more focused in setting up the point a little bit better before you move forward.
So one more shot to the other.
One more shot,
Okay.
yeah. Pushing him one more shot on the defense before you moved forward. And I actually think the opposite for you. I think you should have stayed back and just grinded. But I think that,
yeah.
I mean, that would have been your game. I think that you should have pressed him and made him win points. And but I think with the leg, you couldn't do that. So that was the problem. But I think that's the way to play. That's the way you should have played if you could move the way you normally move, was to just stay back and set up points and make him try to press, and then he would have made errors, and it would have been whoever, if you would have been patient enough to not make the error and set up the point, or whether Kevin would have grinded enough to be able to make enough balls.
A balancing
Yeah.
act.
But that's the way I think both of you would have been successful against each other.
I felt like I did that after, I think I got broke early in the first, because I just started making too many errors, and I was just like, my legs aren't there. It just didn't feel the same. Then I was like, I'm just gonna go cross court. Then I had a game or two where I was pretty successful. Just go cross. Like if he hits a winner. Surprisingly, you hit a couple really good down the line backhands that I wasn't like.
Those were late, not by design.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, good to know. But yeah, you hit a couple of those, and I mean, I just tell myself, like, if you hit a winner, great, it's okay. And just keep trucking, and I think that's what really helped me in the first, because there was so many times where there was a moment in the first, I think it was like around 4-all, where I was like, I just don't want to do this, and I was like, shut up, you're doing this. Like literally, like I was just like on the brink of going, I don't feel like grinding anymore, and I was like, I don't. Then I was just like, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to make you beat me. And I just got lucky with a couple balls and that opportunity where I started feeling the return and adjusting my return.
Yeah. So.
Oh, thanks for the insight. Anything else before we sign off?
What are you working on, Kevin?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm super excited because at TotalTennisDomination.org, you can go and get completely free courses where we just are starting to put out a forehand course, a serve course, and one-handed and two-handed backhand course. Complete courses, 100% free. And then we're going to start a community where we're going to get all of you who really are serious about improving your games and give you access to a complete catalog of courses for free where you can start learning fundamentals to advanced topics in your game. So we're super excited to bring that to you. Been going through a lot of research lately and rewiring and retinkering. If you notice, I haven't done a lot of content lately, but we're about to kind of push out a lot more things just to redo a lot of stuff like that. And so it's been really helpful for me to re-examine a lot of like old thoughts and old thinking about tennis, and it's made a huge difference to my game and the students I've worked with. So I want to share that with everyone out there just like you. So make sure you go to TotalTennisDomination.org. You'll see a tab at the top that says free courses. Go ahead and just check them out. You don't even have to sign in with an email. And then later on we'll put an email list where if you want to get with the community, you can do that too. So I'll
Check
see
it
you
out.
there.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, and also check out Total Tennis Domination's YouTube channel featuring Megan and Kevin over here. Really helps out. Really good tennis coaches and hell of a players. But is there a course on toe cramps?
I will create one. It's called Fitness Beforehand.
Does it involve Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Don't
good.
wait 5 years to play a match.
Yeah. All right, guys. Sure.
Who
would you rather play, me or him?
This is interesting. Actually, really good question. I feel more comfortable playing him indoors than you. Your ability to take the ball early was a pain, excuse my French, in the yesterday. You do such a good job of taking time away and indoors. And I feel like I felt more comfortable indoors because I mean, the last time I played indoors was at Essential Tennis, probably like 5 years ago.
Podland.
Huh?
Podland, right?
Yeah.
Against Ian.
Yeah,
I
that
saw
was
that
the last time I played a match indoors. So playing your ball indoors is nasty. If we were playing outdoors, I'd feel more comfortable because the court would slow it down, and I feel like it would give me more time to do the things I like to do. Mark's ball, I feel more comfortable with, where I have time to start running around and kind of maneuvering and doing things with. So yeah, I probably don't like playing you indoors. If we're playing outdoors, I feel much more comfortable. But give me a rematch. I'll definitely give you a rematch. We're gonna start running, and we'll definitely give you a rematch.
Okay, this is an ego question. Who hits a bigger forehand, me or Scott, on average from the baseline?
I don't know if you want to ask that question right now, Mark.
Well, here's the difference.
heavy versus hard.
You hit a heavier one, but he takes the thing the early, and so it just depends. Again, I feel more comfortable because then ball sits up, I can do more things, I can manipulate balls, I have time, and I like having time to kind of load up and do things. Your ball really is disruptive, especially on a faster surface, and the way you were just taking time away from me yesterday was really tough. And I just kind of same thing, I was like, I can't get caught up in like, I lost track of how many backhand down the line, on the rise,
for real.
like sabers. I was just like, the dude's just sabering me. Like, he just doesn't care. And so I was super impressed with that. And kind of the same thing, I felt like I was a little bit of Houdini with the serve yesterday. I served much better with you, and that got me out of a lot of trouble where I didn't quite have the big serves today. But yeah, so it's really interesting. If I play both of you indoors, I don't want to play you. You are definitely tougher to play indoors. If I'm playing outdoors, I feel much more comfortable playing both of you. Yeah.
All right. Rematch in Nebraska, Oklahoma?
Yeah, come to Oklahoma. We'll play outside. Right?
We'll play outdoors.
A little 100-degree
August.
100 degrees. Yeah,
Play those long points.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. That's.
Body stays warm outdoors.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Very much.
Signing off. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thanks, Megan.
All right, thank
job.
you guys.
Good job.
Good job, Mark.
All right.
Good match.
Nice commentating.
Yeah, thanks. It was nice to meet you.
You too.
I said, this is an ego question. Here it is.